Okay, with Patrick Torres, Demon is the short film played at the Action Fantasy Festival. This is kind of your own creation, your own kind of world that you created. I guess like that's pretty amazing. Where did you kind of come up with this
Yeah,
idea?
well, it's I kind of wanted to do something within mythology, right? Because it's Greek mythology, and but like trying to copy Greek mythology one for one is way too complicated. Uh, because there's so many variations of a story, like which one do you pick? And so I want to have like more of an original character within the world. That way, if I get some things wrong, which you're going to get some things wrong with mythology. You could always just say like, oh, look, it's an original character. It's not. I'm not trying to copy it, you know?
Yeah. So you wrote this, but you're also starring the film too, right?
Yeah, that was hard. Writing, directing, and being the lead, that was really hard.
Would you do it
Uh,
again?
well, I sort of have to just because I have all the skill sets for the character, and I'm like actively training them all the time, so it just makes more sense for me to play the character.
So do
And of
you do
course,
you
since it's
start off as an actor, or do you, like first, is that your first kind of trade?
Yeah, I mean, I acted in middle school and some high school, and then I got out of it, and then I didn't touch it again up until probably 2020. I really want to get back into it, but I was writing in starting in 2017, so it all just, I mean, because when you're like a filmmaker, an indie filmmaker, you kind of have to do everything anyway.
Yeah.
So like I've been slowly progressing into other stuff on top of the acting and writing.
Well, how many films have you made so far?
Uh, two short films. The one I submitted was my second one. And right now I'm in the middle of a feature using Demon as a proof of concept for the feature. So it's the same
Gotcha.
characters, it's the same setting, it has sort of the same vibe. Demon was a little experimental in terms of like how I wanted it to feel and all of that. And I think after making the short film, I've kind of locked in what I actually want for the feature film. So it's definitely easier now to make the feature than starting the feature from scratch.
Yeah, 100%. But there's lots of like obviously you talked about Unreal Engine, that's post-production, but
Yeah,
there's sword fighting going on, there's action, there's horseback riding. There's a lot of moving parts
a
for
lot of
this
stuff.
this in the short film.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a lot of stuff. I was riding horses for about 2 years before we shot, and I wanted to make sure that I could ride well because ancient Greeks they didn't have any stirrups, so you're pretty much riding bareback, which is a
Yeah.
lot harder. Uh, yeah, it was really hard for a short film. If it was a standalone short film, it'd be like too much, right? It was too expensive for me to make. There's too many skills involved. But because I'm using it as a proof of concept for the feature, like everything is just transferred over.
Yeah.
So in my case, it made a lot of sense to just try to incorporate everything into the short, since we're just going to duplicate it in the feature.
So, but also too, you got to keep you're in pretty good, like let's just be honest, you're in pretty good shape making this film.
Yeah, have to be. You're gonna be like half naked on camera. You got to be,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
You got to work like you're making these are long days, right? And you have to like you got to hit the gym though all the time, right?
Yeah, on top of like all the training, all the other training.
Yeah.
It's like I'm pretty much constantly in a gym of some sort all the time, which is cool because I kind of wanted to sort of like have that lifestyle.
Yeah.
But it does get tiring pretty quick.
Yeah. There's a like how long can you make it? Like an hour working out?
So
Longer?
yeah, so generally if we're talking about training, I try to pack in as much in a day instead of trying to spread it out and over multiple days. Because if I spread it out too much, I won't recover in time.
Yeah,
But if
that's
I
what I
do
mean.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, so but if I do like 2 days of like gym and MMA or gym and horse riding or gym and sword fighting, if I could do that 2 days in a row and then that third day I take a break, like I literally don't do anything the third day, I
Yeah.
can do that pretty much over a long period of time,
Gotcha.
which that took a while to figure out because
Yeah.
it's definitely weird what I'm doing, right? It's not normal. So
Yeah.
I had to figure out like the training schedule for that.
But it's just before your time, but Stallone would he directed and starred and wrote a lot of his
Yeah,
films, right? In the 80s
yeah,
and 90s. And he would have to hit the gym, right? He talked about
yeah,
it, right? He worked these 14, 15-hour days and he's got to go to the gym, right? Because he's like he's a naked in these films,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. But I think he was doing something extra. Let's just put it that way.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Very, very prevalent in and I saw it myself, even in the early 2000s on film sets, right? They talk about athletes,
Uh,
right? Like, come on, like
yeah,
these movie stars are like, talk about Barry Bonds, like, let's,
yeah.
yeah.
Also, I mean, I think it's honestly impossible to do without some sort of enhancement like that.
It just
Just
keeps
because
your
it's,
stamina
yeah,
up, right? Yeah,
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 yeah. Because what they're doing is like historically unrealistic in terms of workload,
yeah.
right? So like, I get it. I get it.
It's hard not to, right? Because it's like you can work out 2 hours instead of one, like instead of 40 minutes, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
And then you just recover so fast.
that's what I mean. You recover faster, right? So yeah.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, there's side effects and stuff. So okay, so let's talk about the process. So you're basically in almost every scene, right? And you're
Yeah,
also
yeah,
directing,
yeah,
and you got the co-star, obviously, but basically in lots of different scenes. So how were you able to do kind of three jobs at the same time? I'm kind of giving you a broad question. I'm just curious.
yeah. Uh, so I think what really helped is doing a previs. The previs we shot um, pretty much in my living room. So disregarding props, disregarding environment, just so I know what shots I wanted, um, and what sort of like the timing and the flow of things were. I think that really helped me on the actual shoot day because I already kind of knew what I wanted and I already kind of knew how I wanted it presented. It was so much easier for me to like, oh yeah, I remember we shot this in the previs this way, and I'll probably just make a small change and we're good to go. So that I think that was definitely it couldn't have been as good without doing the previs on my own.
But you had to have a lot of trust in your cinematographer, one would assume, right?
Yeah, yeah, he's actually the guy that went to film school, so he's pretty experienced and all that. We've been working together since 2018. So he kind of knows what I want, and we mesh together well. So if there was some like a question I couldn't answer, I knew he would have the answer for it.
And then talk to me about your co-star because it's a obviously like in terms of physicality, he's a contrast to you, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He
Ginger
was
kid.
actually the
Yeah.
yeah he's actually the star of my first short film because in my first short film I just directed. I'm not in it.
Okay.
But he was the main character, and he was such a good actor. Uh, I had to incorporate him into the this next short film because initially he wasn't going to be in it at all. Uh, but I was like, no, I need to have like a role for him, and I'm literally running into the same thing on the feature film where like he wasn't in it, but now like he's so good, like I kind of have to have him in it. So I'm sort of altering the script to make sure he's in it.
Yeah. No, it's a good little dynamic happening. You could see kind of even
Yeah,
if this turns into I'm assuming you said you're doing a feature. This dynamic will be even expanded even more, right?
yeah, for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
And he'll be like the character's opposite, right? So you have like the nice innocent guy, and
Yeah,
then you have like, yeah,
the contrast,
yeah, so
right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what was The Rock's Dwayne Johnson's first movie. It kind of reminds me of that dynamic. You ever seen that movie?
Which one was it? Well, it wasn't the Scorpion King, was
The
it?
Scorpion King, yeah, has that kind of
That was
dynamic.
it?
He's kind of an arrogant, muscle bound guy, and he's
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah, yeah,
dismissing his underling. It's sort of like has that dynamic in your film.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like it also reminded me of you seen that Puss in Boots, the new one?
The what?
Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots. Oh, well, the animation. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The newest one had like that dopey dog that was so dumb and innocent, but he like had all the wisdom, and Puss in Boots was like all arrogance
Yeah, that's
and
exactly it. That's
skill.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happened. That was like the Scorpion King, right? Where like he was muscle bound, but and he thought because he was more dominant physically, he had the smarts, right? But
Uh-huh.
yeah, but the other, but the like the he's the thinker, right? So yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I like that. It's
exactly.
good. It's a good thing. No, because it's a parallel to our society in many ways, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, right. You hit the nail right on the head. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but it's more about like someone who's got money or power thinks they're smart, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So
And
you
they're
kind
like
of this world
chosen.
where you just yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Chosen by God, right?
Yeah, well, whatever that means. Right? But yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay. And then you got the girls, I guess, like who are in the film as well later on. So where did you find the other actresses for the film?
Actually, the co-star had a bunch of theater nerd friends, and I was like, "Hey, you got any theater nerd friends that might want to do this?" And he was like, "Yeah," and he kind of hooked us up with all those girls.
Yeah,
And some of them have moved now, though, so I'm hoping I don't have to recast them for the feature.
gotcha. So are you making the
But
feature or
mhm.
when's it starting?
Oh, well, I kind of already started. I'm recycling pretty much all the costumes, the environments, for the feature. And right now, for the last 2 months, I've been putting together an investor pitch deck and the crowdfunding pitch deck and getting all the financial stuff in order to try to start raising money within the next month or two. Um, but also like, because I have savings that I'm already putting in, because I don't want to wait to get the money and then start. I've already sort of started and had the ball rolling on like VFX and getting props made and getting costumes made. Uh, and ideally, by the time I need the money's already in, and it could just keep flowing instead of like waiting for the money and then starting everything.
Gotcha. And then okay, so then yeah, that makes sense. So you were you said you said in your blog interview that after you finished shooting, you fell off a horse. That you
Yeah, yeah.
damn.
I got very lucky. I didn't have anything serious. Uh, I landed right on my back. Pretty much what had happened was we were on top of a hill. Horse got scared. At this point, I'm an experienced rider. Uh, I- you're pretty much only gonna fall if the horse does something you do not expect or tell it to do, and that's exactly what happened. I was on top of a hill. The horse got spooked, and he just ran down the hill, and I wasn't expecting it. And in hindsight, I should have just bailed. I should have just, all right, let me get off the horse. But I tried to stay on. And at the bottom, I fell. It was a good thing it was on a riverbank, so the ground was soft. Uh, on the way down, I got launched off and I tried to roll with it because usually they just roll, but because of the angle,
Yeah,
because usually if you're riding and you fall and roll, you're usually on the same plane, so you can just roll with it, right?
yeah,
But because we were coming on an incline to a flat, uh, I tried the same thing, right? But the angle was incorrect. So it's pretty much just like rolling into a wall. So
Oh,
I landed on my back. Um, I went to the ER. Everything's fine. I just had insane swelling. I had it seemed like someone stuffed a volleyball into my back
okay.
because it was just like just a huge ball, um, which lasted like 2 months, and I wasn't like 100% up until 4 months later. So that was it could have been worse, but that's the worst injury I've ever had, doing everything I've ever done so far.
And then that affected your post-production, I guess, right?
Yeah, because I couldn't do anything. I was just drugged up the whole time
Yeah.
after that. Yeah, so like I couldn't make good decisions. So me and the film crew, I was just like, all right, we're just gonna wait till I'm back to normal, and then we could actually start again.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm glad. Are you feeling okay now? Any side effects from the
No,
injury?
like 100% fine. Nothing broke, nothing ripped. It's literally just very deep bone bruising.
I think you got a little bit lucky because you could have broken a
Yeah,
leg or an arm pretty easily, I
yeah,
guess, right?
yeah. Very lucky.
Yeah.
And next time the horse freaks out, I'm just jumping off. I'm not.
Yeah, that's what they
It's
say. I don't know. I don't
yeah,
have much experience, but I know I've been around some equestrian riders, and they have bruises all over their bodies and stories of broken bones and stuff, and that's what they say. Like just yeah,
it's definitely the most dangerous thing out of everything I'm doing. And when I get older, it's gonna be the first skill I let go of
yeah.
because it's just the risk of injuries is so high all the time.
But unless you make a western, you got to get back on the horse.
Yeah.
Part of the pun, right? But yeah. Okay, so tell me about the choreograph for like you got the fight scene in the end, and then you got the sword, little bit of a sword fight. So did you
Mhm.
choreograph that stuff with like especially like in the end we had that it's pretty intense fight scene, nice
Yeah.
cinematography with it.
I could have, but instead of trying to do everything, because I'm always in like a gym, so I already know like all the people that know these things.
Yeah,
So for like the wrestling fight at the end, I got a guy who's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and I told him like, hey, I don't really want to like think anything about this. You're the black belt, you know everything. You just choreograph the fight, and I kind of just had him let him have total creative freedom,
yeah,
and I just wanted to make sure the fight ended a certain way, which was with the choke out. And so he was just like, okay, and he did that. And the same thing at sword school. There's this guy who's like read every single training manual of all the sword masters, so he knows like every single move and all that. And so I told him it wasn't like a complex fight because it was just more like a this guy's just so good and just dominates.
yeah,
Um, so it wasn't that hard of a scene to choreograph. But in the feature, there will be like three very big, long technical fights.
so but the person's in a mask, so it could be anybody. You just found somebody who's
Yeah,
yeah, who knows their stuff, I guess, to do the fight scene.
yeah.
That's
Which is
smart.
actually
Yeah,
what we're doing because there's a striking, like punching, and kicking, like Muay Thai, pretty much a Muay Thai fight in the feature, and I wanted to have it to be a clone of the main character,
yeah,
but that was going to be so complicated in terms of timing and all that. So we're going to put him into like a suit to where it can be anybody, but you know it's the clone. And that way we have like this super complex fight that won't be hindered by us trying to make a clone replica, you know?
yeah. So then you got Jacob, I guess Leland was your cinematographer, producer, and
Hmm.
then you had Jacob who's your producer, and he also helped you edit the film as well.
Yeah, he's our editor.
Yeah,
And he's the guy that did the sword choreography too.
gotcha. And then so he's the there. This is your team, I guess, your core team, I guess.
Yeah, me, Jacob, and Leland.
And you guys are all based in Houston.
Yeah, we actually met at sword school.
Swords. Oh,
And so
really?
yeah, so we were like, hey, let's start making movies. We're like, yeah, let's do it. And we meet every week, twice a week since 2019.
Even
So
during
we're always
COVID?
working on stuff. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
You guys were your bubble, I guess, each other's bubble.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because they still had fencing, it was just outside. So we'd still meet up to do that. And then
Oh,
we just
wow.
shoot stuff. Yeah. We would meet up at a park. And because, like medieval fencing is weird.
Yeah.
So like everyone at the park would just look at us the whole time.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Fencing is a really cool sport, though. I like that. It's like they do that. There's a lot of funny enough, there's a lot of fencings in like even New York City. There's a lot of like high
Yeah.
class, like it's a rich man sport in many ways.
Yeah. Olympic fencing for sure.
Yeah.
The medieval stuff is more like Dungeons and Dragons nerds.
But sometimes
That's
some of
all
those
you
Dungeons
get.
and Dragons nerds don't even know what they're doing. So that's impressive. They can
Yeah.
pick up a sword.
No, a lot of them are bad. Honestly, a lot of them are bad. You get some athletes and then you see like, oh, okay, this is what like sword fighting is. But the
Gotcha.
majority would be just like not athletic Dungeons and Dragons nerds that are
Yeah.
there for like the lore.
That I always found that there a certain irony of the nerds loving like superhero movies and like Dungeons and Dragons, which is very physical. Like it's like and they're not
Yeah.
physical,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I always found that interesting. It's like, why are you attracted to you know, these characters, right? When you're not like that, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's like a little projection on they want to be like that,
Yeah. They want to get
But
eaten, but
maybe.
they want to get bitten by a spider and become a
Yeah,
superhero
it's
and
true.
not do the work, not do the work
Without
that
the
you
work.
do every day, right? Yeah.
If only it were that easy.
Yeah. It's all about the grind. You know that. It's like everything's about
Yeah.
the grind. Felt like even working out is very similar to filmmaking. It's
Mhm.
just like doing it like a little bit at a time every day, I guess, right?
Yeah. Repetition over time,
Yeah.
consistently, just you'd be good at anything.
Yeah. The
It's just
10,000
doing
hour
it.
rule, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay,
Hours on the saddle.
so just the bring things back at the beginning, you talked about like you started doing this like 7, 8 years ago, like started writing scripts and wanting to do like you said you met your friends and fencing. What kind of
Mhm.
prompted you? Why did you always want to make movies?
Well, I didn't want to make movies.
I mean,
Um,
why did you like decide? I guess that's the better question.
yeah.
Why did you decide in
Uh,
2007?
so I always loved movies, right? I've seen all the good movies, and every time I watch a movie in my own head, I'm dissecting it, right? I'm thinking about like, oh, they could have done this better, or like, oh no, that was perfect. So I'm always doing that, and I've always been like very interested in the behind the scenes stuff, like how they made the thing, and like every time I buy the disc to a movie, I'd always watch through the whole behind the scenes stuff. But
Yeah,
never did I think that I'm like, all right, I kind of want to make one now because I've seen like how much work it takes. And but about like 2017, 2018, uh, I was just like minding my own business and like this incredible story popped into my head. And then it just kept like building and growing and I'm like, all right, I think I have to make this thing now. Uh, and so really long story short, that's just why I'm doing this is to try to be able to make this trilogy that I my brain just farted out, and then I could do something else maybe. But I have to like there's something like the muse is forcing me to be good enough to make the trilogy before I can do anything else.
gotcha. That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, I'm more of a hostage though.
You what?
I'm more of a hostage though
Yeah, well, that's
from the
everybody
muse.
gets you. It's a good being a good hostage though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's definitely yeah, like since starting filmmaking, it's it's definitely changed me into a better person, 100%. Because I've had to do so many difficult things and just really like focus on something that's very important to me. So you sort of mature very quickly if you're trying to do something like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, man. Well, good luck on the feature film. Best of luck with it. I know it's a hard thing to pull off, and I think you will. And let's talk
Thank
when the
you.
feature's made, and we can help promote your film.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. So probably like 2 to 3 years from now,
Okay.
it
How
should
about
be
two
should
years
be
from
good
now?
to go. All right, that sounds good.
Okay. I'll talk to you then. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.